Hi, welcome back to Burbex, Brin's Urban Exploration. Today's episode is the first in a regular series of videos where I will be giving you some background to the places that I've explored in the past. In this video, I'm going to give you a brief background to Die Glocke, the Nazi bell. I'm going to tell you what it was, which leading Nazis were involved in the project, and why this site in Ostrava, Czech Republic, could actually be a sister site to the one in Poland. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you know that my attitude is that I usually go into places without any prior knowledge of the location and then later afterwards find out more information. And that's because I think often when we have too much information about a place, it kind of gives us a biased idea of that location. So I tend to do research afterwards. Another point is that often when I go to locations and I upload the videos, people leave comments afterwards, and so I think it's actually a really great way to gather information about places. In that respect, my viewers are actually my greatest resource because they give me so much information. So the one that we're talking about today, this is actually from last August when I visited the Czech Republic, and we were actually visiting Nightbird's hometown at the time. And we were in a small city called Ostrava, which is in Silesia, quite close to Poland in the Czech Republic. And one of Nightbird's friends, she mentioned that underneath nearby Emma Hill, E-M-A Hill, there's supposed to be an abandoned nuclear bunker. Of course, that caught my attention, and I went out into the forest for a few hours, got completely lost trying to find these bunkers, and I was just about to give up, but then I found a tiny hole in the forest, and I climbed down into that hole and I found quite a large bunker. If you follow the link in the top right hand corner of the screen, you can actually see that video. I was very satisfied with that result, and I climbed out, and then I'm trying to find my way out through the forest, got lost again, and then I found just like this gigantic wall which was going right through the forest. It was like, here was the ground level and there was the wall, and then above the wall there was a new ground level. Something very large had been built there. So I climbed up to the top of this wall, and on top of this wall I actually found a large decagonal structure. Decagonal is 10-sided structure, kind of a big decagon like this. I found this weird structure. It's like this massive octagonal structure, but there's like a little man pointing here, and on the other side it says bunk, like bunker. So I think I might be on the right track. At the time that kind of rang a little bell in my mind, but something distracted me at the time, and that was the fact that there was a very deep tunnel going underneath this decagonal structure into another bunker. I tell you what, if I fell down there I wouldn't be able to get out again. You can see that in the video in the top right again. I tried going down into that bunker, but unfortunately it was flooded and I didn't have enough light down there. Actually, there was an abandoned dinghy down at the bottom, so somebody else had obviously tried to float their way in there, so I had to give up and I didn't really have enough time. At that time there was kind of this little bell which chimed in my mind about what this place could be, but I didn't think about it until much later. Before we jump into today's great video though, be sure to hit that subscribe button and don't forget to ding 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 that bell. No, not that bell, this bell, the notification bell, for great new videos from Burbex, Brin's Urban Exploration every week. Let's go. In the remote Owl Valley, just outside the small village of Ludwikowice, Poland, stands a strange decagonal structure strongly associated with Nazi mysticism, known as Hitler's Henge or Muchołapka. Muchołapka actually means the fly trap in Polish. Mucho means fly, lapka means trap. Interestingly, in Czech language, mucho or mucha in the feminine form is actually the name of a very famous artist whose paintings you've probably seen before. Nobody knows why the place is actually called the fly trap, but some people say it's because it looks like the traditionally hand-blown glass fly traps that you get in Poland. What they do know is that the structure was built by the Nazis and may have been the foundation for some kind of tower. The structure also stands on top of a vast complex of military tunnels built into the hillside. These tunnels were actually built by Polish concentration camp prisoners. Mainstream scholars believe that this structure was actually the support for a cooling tower or a water tower. According to others, though, the Nazi high command would not have devoted so many military resources here if the valley contained only an energy plant. The tunnels beneath the Flytrap were part of a massive military complex known as Project Riese. Riese means giant in German, and that's because there was a massive underground military complex beneath. It is said the complex tested new weapons. The most advanced was known as Die Glocke, which means the bell in German. There's a great deal of evidence to show that leading German physicists working with the Nazis, including Hermann Oberth and Wernher von Braun, who later went on to make significant contributions to the space race for the United States, were involved in creating a bell-shaped machine that could use electromagnetism to hover in the air. Surviving sketches depict the bell as having dimensions measuring around 10 feet high and 5 feet in diameter, with a ceramic covering. The ceramic covering is an important feature, as Hermann Oberth later went on to develop a thin layer of ceramic covering for the US space shuttles, which is still used even today. You know, a bell-shaped object would actually go contrary to the modern laws of aerodynamics, and that's because as a bell shape it creates a lot of drag. But that actually might be a good option if you want to move from side to side, the way that a hovercraft moves side to side on a bed of air. The bell would move side to side on a bed of electromagnetism, so that it could kind of break away from gravity. So far so good, but this is where the story gets weird. The bell was actually supposed to be powered by some strange material which may or may not exist, which was called Cerium 525, better known as red mercury. Red mercury, if you look for it on YouTube, you'll find a lot of different uses for red mercury. And one of them is supposed to be in nuclear dirty bombs. So, you know, like they create a very compact, small bomb with this. It leaves a lot of background radiation after it's exploded. The other use that it has is that in the Middle East, they believe that red mercury can summon genies. You know, like Genie in Aladdin.
Come whisper to me whatever it is you want.
That can actually give you wishes.
I ain't never had a friend like me.
Because of these properties that it's got, because of the mythology behind them, it's actually worth about $500,000 for 1 kilo of red mercury. And it may or may not exist. Nobody really knows. There aren't actually any records to show that the bell was ever used during the war. But as the Allied troops advanced into Germany, the entire project and its commander, SS General Hans Kammler, all just vanished. Now, Kammler was actually an important player in creating the V1 and V2 rockets, which bombarded London during the Second World War. When he escaped from the complex, actually 62 of the scientists that were involved in the project were murdered to prevent the technology falling into the hands of the Allied forces. Hans Kammler, he was a real bastard as well, because he was involved in the construction of the Nazi death camps throughout Europe. And as a high-ranking official in the Nazi party, he definitely would have faced trial and probable execution after the war. Most people think that Kammler actually committed suicide just outside Prague. Others say that he actually made a deal with the US government for immunity from prosecution in exchange for the technology behind Die Glocke. Another possibility is that he escaped into neighbouring Czechoslovakia, where he would have blended in very easily because he spoke fluent Czech. If Die Glocke did exist, and if Kammler did escape into neighbouring Czechoslovakia, then Emma Hill in Ostrava, where I visited, would be an ideal location to set up the new project. Ostrava is only about 200 kilometers from Ludwikowice in Poland, and it's got lots of natural resources like coal nearby, and it's shrouded in forests, which would be an ideal location for like a secret base. It's also rumoured that there was a second project within Czechoslovakia, and that actually had the codename Ju-390, which just goes to prove that the German government was throwing everything at these secret projects.
First rule in government spending: Why build one when you can have two twice the price? Only this one can be kept secret.
Now, I'm not saying that what I found in the forest in Ostrava is definitively the sister site of Die Glocke in Poland. But what I am saying is that from the shape of the structure and from the fact that both these sites have extensive tunnels running beneath them with very similar settings, then these two sites likely were used for the same purpose. I was thinking about going into some of the more outlandish theories about these sites being used for time travel or travel to other planets, which you can read about more in the best-selling book The Hunt for Zero Point by Nick Cook, but that could be a video all on its own. By the way, if you want to read that book, you can see it in the Amazon link in the description below this video. That's all the information I have about Die Glocke. I hope that you found this interesting and that this will kind of start a conversation in the comments. I want to hear your opinions. I want to know what you think about this. Could all of this be true, or do you think it's just some elaborate hoax? I want these videos to try and create discussion, so please leave comments as well. I really value comments. The next episode of this series is actually going to be about the suicide forest. If you are very familiar with my channel, you'll know that I've visited the suicide forest a couple of years ago. I made a lot of videos about that. But actually something new came up from that, and the next video is going to be crazy. It's going to be about Japanese terrorists in the suicide forest. This video is crazy. You won't believe it when you see it. Make sure that you're subscribed and you've dinged that bell. Ding, ding, ding. Not the Nazi bell, the notification bell. Ding that bell so that you can see all upcoming videos. And I'll see you again on the next video. Let's go.